Hello again, my name is Veronica from Punkfish Diving and Punkfish Academy, and we will continue with our Nitrox course, with our Nitrox Course Plus, because we want to explain you a little bit more about diving with Nitrox, and today about the risks and the limits of diving with Nitrox. The limit when we are diving with nitrox is the risk of an oxygen toxicity and an oxygen toxicity hit underwater. Now, oxygen is necessary for us. Humans metabolize oxygen and we need oxygen to survive. But in the same moment, if we are exposed to oxygen at a higher pressure than what we are used to, then this oxygen can cause a lot of problems, a lot of real toxicity symptoms, and if it's a really high pressure, it might even kill us. So oxygen toxicity is real, and it's something we have to be aware of. We dive with nitrox because we want the lower percentage of nitrogen in this gas, but in order to have this lower nitrogen saturation, we have to accept a higher percentage of oxygen. It's not what we want, it's what we have to accept as the downside of having less nitrogen. As oxygen is a very reactive gas, you can imagine that a gas that makes metals rusty can cause a lot of harm inside our body as well. We will talk in the next video about the symptoms of oxygen toxicity, but in general, the oxygen can cause a lot of harm to different organs in our body and can lead to a lot of different problems. As oxygen can cause a lot of different problems, there are different forms of oxygen toxicity. The absolutely most important that we will treat in the next video is the CNS toxicity, which is the one that divers fear most. This is the form of toxicity that can occur underwater when being exposed to a too high pressure of oxygen, and which can lead to cramps, which underwater is a very big, serious problem. The second form of oxygen toxicity is the pulmonary toxicity, which can occur if we are exposed to a higher percentage of oxygen or a higher pressure of oxygen for a longer period of time. This is not really important in recreational diving, but it might affect when we need a treatment in a hyperbaric chamber. So to have it complete, we will talk about this as well. And then we will talk a little bit as well about oxidative stress, which is not yet toxicity, but oxygen might harm our body in some ways that are beyond toxicity. If you simply want to avoid oxygen toxicity, the only thing you have to do is to stick to your limits. You stay at a maximum partial pressure of 1.4 of oxygen, and you stay inside the exposure limits set in the exposure tables. As long as you do this, you can be sure that there is no problem in using nitrox for your normal recreational dives. But it's always good to know a little bit more, and this is why we will continue with some videos about these forms of oxygen toxicity.